Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video today. Just taking a walk around the local streets here, seeing if there's any activity. The postie there delivering some mail. A few people behind me having a coffee, but as you can see, not a lot of activity in these streets. This is a quiet part of town. If you want any action, you have to go down to the central part of the city where the port is, and that's where you'll see more activity. But here everything is very local. Lots of elderly people living in this part of the world, people that don't really get out and about much, and that's basically the situation in this part of Peniche. Lots of dogs barking, as we can hear. A few neighbours out and about having a bit of a chat, but that's about it. And of course the dog's going crazy. Now I know what you're thinking. I said I wasn't going to do a video today, but my plans changed, and finally I'm able to get out and about and record something. I'm not able to do a news update, so I'll do another one of these videos today, and we'll have a chat about some of the comments from the last videos. Now I've seen a few comments in recent times from people telling me to enjoy my holiday. Somebody saying yesterday that I've been on holiday now for a long time. Well, technically I'm not on holiday, I'm still working. As you can see, I'm doing one of these videos almost every day, and I've still got all of my online classes happening. I was working about 80% online before the coronavirus came, and now everything has gone online. So I'm able to move my operations to this part of the world and keep on working. Now, another comment I saw yesterday talking about all the rubbish that I had in the background, and you can see it here today as well. Rubbish or litter on the ground here is a big problem. The majority of the times it's serviettes, cans of Coke, and other things like that. Obviously they fly off tables in restaurants or outdoor seating areas in restaurants, and of course they end up in places like this, and nobody comes to pick them up, which is a bit of a problem. Now I'm going to take a walk along this road here today. I'm on the outskirts of the town, and there's lots of people living here away from the central areas of town, people that have houses that they've built out here, a lot of strange properties, and there's also lots of wild dogs or stray dogs in this area. So I'm going to have to be a bit careful, keep my wits about me, because I don't want any problems with stray dogs. And I remember when we first started coming to this part of the world, there were lots of dogs running around all over the place. People just used to let their dogs run free, do their business, and then they'd come home for something to eat. That's changed. You don't see that as much as you used to. People that have dogs now take them out on leashes, so obviously they've cracked down on that. But in this part of the town you can find some abandoned dogs, so got to be careful. And there's an example behind me of some of the houses in this area. You can see the dogs always guarding the gate. Now there's been a bit of talk in recent times about living off the grid. That's what people here are trying to do. Obviously it's not 100% off the grid because they've got electricity. You can see a pole behind me, but they are living a more remote lifestyle out here than they would be down in the main part of town. No services here, no shops, and the properties are all quite big and protected by dogs. And here's the warning about the guard dog. Now I said the other day that it was difficult to live off the grid in Spain, and I did have a couple of comments from people who said that they are living off the grid in Spain. One person said that he was almost 100% self-sufficient, so it is possible in Spain, but it's one of these concepts that you don't hear much about in Spain. You don't hear a lot of Spanish people talking about living off the grid, and it isn't very common. But judging from those comments, it is possible. And nowadays, since they have taken away that sun tax, it is possible to get all of your energy from alternative sources. For example, the sun, which is positive in my opinion. This property here is for sale if anybody's interested. And there's another concept now which is becoming very, very popular. There's lots of people on YouTube promoting this type of living, where you move around Europe in your camper van, and that is pretty close to off-the-grid living. And as I said, lots of videos on YouTube nowadays about people who are choosing to live in that way. You can also see the way people protect their properties here with pieces of glass up here on the wall, just so that people don't try to jump the fence. Yeah, so van life, and I suppose it's going to become an even more attractive option for a lot of people now, given the problems that we have had in recent times. And it does look like an interesting concept for people that want to get away from it all. And who can blame them? Another problem in this part of the town, fly tipping. And check this out behind me here, it looks to be an illegal graveyard. Don't know what's buried there, maybe animals, I have no idea, but I've never seen anything like this before in my travels in this part of the world. But looking at the names on the graves there, I think that they are pets. So there we go, my first pet cemetery. And another comment that caught my attention was from someone in the USA who said that they were planning to come to Spain next year and do the Auxiliares de Conversation program in Spain, and then maybe start their life, build their career in Spain. And they asked if that was still possible. And of course it is. And that is a good program to start your adventure in Spain. You can start working, you get a guaranteed salary every month, you can meet a lot of people, you can see what Spain is really like, and then you can take your decisions from there. We had an interview a couple of weeks back with a guy called Elliot who is doing just that. He also has a YouTube channel called Elliot's Adventures, and he's traveling around Spain at the moment from what I've seen and enjoying his time here. And from that conversation with Elliot, we saw that he loved that program and how he was able to have his adventures in Spain and really enjoy the Spanish lifestyle. And really enjoy the Spanish lifestyle with, as I said, a guaranteed salary every month. Of course, it became a bit difficult this year with the whole coronavirus problem, and that could also be an issue for the upcoming school year, but I'm sure that in the next couple of years, things will get back to some type of normal and people will be able to come over to Spain on those programs and enjoy everything that Spain has to offer. And of course, a bit of feedback yesterday regarding my name. I said that my name in Spain is very, very difficult for a lot of people to pronounce. I said that the Spanish version of my name is Estuardo. And somebody wrote in the comments section that they have a brother called Estuardo. Well, nice to meet you, Estuardo, from one Estuardo to another. And a lot of other people from English-speaking countries have the same problem, that the names that we have are not common and difficult for Spanish people to get their tongues around. One bloke said that his name is Ken, and the first thing that everybody says when they meet him is, Ken, like Ken and Barbie. So there you go. And I also mentioned yesterday that one of the main problems with my name is the fact that it begins with the letter S, and people in Spain have trouble with that letter, especially if it is followed by a consonant, which of course is the case with my name. And the reason for that is that most words in Spanish with the same structure have an E before them. For example, España, estúpido, estupendo. And that is the reason that people have a problem with names like mine. So for example, Stuart. A person called Scott would be called Escott. Somebody called Stephen would also have the same problem because in Spain his name is Esteban. And it also makes it very hard to understand some things when people are talking to you. So for example, when I first came to Spain many, many years ago, when you were having a conversation about music, people would say, ¿te gustan los Rolling Stones? Or ¿te gustan los Smiths? And one band that was very popular in the 80s called Spandau Ballet, in Spanish of course, is Spandau Ballet. So difficult to understand those things when you're talking to people for the first time and when you're new in Spain and you don't really understand how the language works. But for me, that's all a thing of the past now. I've got used to the way things are pronounced in Spain and I don't have a problem with these names anymore. But for a lot of people, it can be when they first arrive. And sometimes, for example, when I ring up to book a table at a restaurant, I don't even bother leaving my name. I just say Juan or Jorge or one of the more common names, and you avoid problems. And I also said that my surname causes problems as well because it begins with the letter W. And I looked into this yesterday. There's only 28 words in Spanish that begin with the letter W. And they're all, unsurprisingly, foreign words that have been incorporated into the Spanish language. For example, whiskey. Water polo is another one, and one for the older generations, Walkman. And another curious word in Spain is the word water. In Spanish, they use that for toilet a lot of the times. You would say, ¿Dónde está el váter? And of course, it's spelt W-A-T-E-R. Por favor, ¿dónde está el váter? Al fondo, a la derecha. And that's the answer you're always going to get. Al fondo, a la derecha, which means down the back to the right. And regarding tourism here in Portugal, it is amazing how many Spanish tourists there are here at the moment. Car coming, so I'll just get off the road. Cars and pedestrians don't go very well together here because there's no sidewalks, no footpaths. Not here at least, you have to go further into the town to get those. But as I was saying, it's amazing how many Spanish tourists are here at the moment. We went to a restaurant yesterday and 90% of the crowd there were Spanish. So they have crossed the border in droves to come to this part of the world this year, which is good for Portugal. And I'm sure that in Spain, with everybody staying home, places are very, very busy there as well. Now I'm starting to come into civilization here. You'll see the difference in a minute, and I'll start to wrap the video up. I hope you have enjoyed this little walk and talk about nothing today. Questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. See you in the next one. Hasta luego.